Alrighty. Hey, sir, good to have you here. NES 3D, new essential skills, third dimension, the peer perspective. And that's where we're going today. Excellent to have you on the line. Listen, hashtag NES 3D has been an interesting gathering place for us in this last convention, this last event. As we started to post onto this, we started to see some trends. At the same time, we found some problems with how Twitter handles hashtags. It doesn't keep them around very long, which is really a great idea. You post them out there, you have to get your stuff off of Twitter real quick, and once you've got it, then you're in business, and so it forces you to get your notes out there sooner than later, and so that's what many of us are still doing. Now, personally, I've had some technical difficulties over the last 2 days, so my notes aren't quite completely out there yet. Others of you who have been posting, great. Your notes are out there. Now remember, those hashtags are important, and we're going to show you why here in just a minute. But first off, I wanted to quickly go into what I saw in terms of the way people were taking notes at the event and some of those, how they would tie into getting those onto Twitter. So first off, some people were doing mind mapping. Some people looked at some mind maps I had and said, my goodness, mind mapping's cool. And I put this one out here. It's a publicly shareable mind map. You can go out, edit on it yourself. I can give you access to it. Great. But doesn't break down very well into smaller chunks. In fact, let's go over here. So this is a mind map that I used for one of the sessions. And Russell Bronson, got him going out here. And we started to collect some of his information, how to produce a product, interview an expert, produce a product, sell the product, and then back-end upsells. And he talked about some ways to do those back-end upsells. Went into the webinars and automated webinars, which is some of the things that he was selling later. So you see how that works out. Pretty cool, great notes, but a little hard to get out there. We'll show you how to do that in a second. Notice also that we've got a couple of these notes, like right here where it says webinars, we actually have down at the bottom down here a little bit of some of the notes that we actually wrote down inside of this specific item. So that's a way to take notes. It works out really well. A couple of people looked over my shoulder, saw me taking notes this way, and said, what are you using to do that? Well, I was using Free Plane is the product. Let's see if we can get it out here for you. Yeah, Free Plane. It's a free mind mapping software, and it's built and very much like Free Mind. Some of you might be familiar with it. Free Mind's been around for years, but it wasn't progressing as quickly as some wanted, so they wanted to add some features, so they forked the project and went over and started building this Free Plane. And a couple other early adopters have taken it on also. So it's a tool I'm playing with and using quite a bit. Now, one of the ways that you can get your notes from here, which was very helpful to me, was just go to File, Export, and choose to save it out as a open file. So that's what's going on. And so that's what you would do. You'd export it there. So anyway, that's where you would take that file and save it out that way. And then that's you'd have it. And so let me show you what that looks like over on this next screen here. Yep. So here's that same Russell Bronson speaking. The menu item out there and then some items underneath it. So you see how that came out to be in a text document. Well, that's another way you can go about it, do the mind mapping thing. And mind mapping has a great advantage in that it allows you to kind of shuffle things around. I can move this automated webinars onto somebody else's, put it someplace else. It works out pretty cool. So you have that possibility. But the other thing is, some of you I noticed when you were taking notes were out there just chunking away on the word processor. Great way to take notes. Let you get all that fact, those information pieces right down. Just keep chucking away and go, 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 go. So that makes it a little easier to get online. I also chose a couple of other options. I did do some note taking on paper and pencil. I like drawing and writing. And I also did take a few notes in a little different fashion, and that is taking pictures off of the screens as people were talking. And I won't go into that right now. But you get the idea. Those pictures could be put up as tweets with the pictures. Again, a little harder to handle in some of the filtering we'll go into in a minute. So, note taking, done. You got them out there. And now that you've got them out there, there's another part of the project that has to take place is now how do you gather these notes and make them useful for you? Well, first off, just in Twitter, if you go to Discover, and from Discover, you hit the button of Discover, and then type in NES 3D, boom, you'll get your goods right there. So let's just do that quickly, get the search, and you'll see you'll get the results list back. The results come down, and you've got all the results with that. But if you notice, they only go back to the 18th in this case. And one of the things that I found is that I posted some things far before the 18th, so that can be a problem. So again, crunch them down the week before the project, week of, and the week, a couple days before the event itself, a couple days after. That's the time frame you have to handle these hashtags. For the things that you post yourself, as long as you keep it under 3,200, I hope you'll do that, you can actually get your own tweets off and be okay. But see, there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of different kinds of thoughts, lots of different kinds of information. Some of this is just talking about meeting together. Some of this is actual notes from Jerry West and talking about some things here. Notice he has this TRI. So he had it posted with a TRI and then a pic. So we put a picture out there. So let's go now and see if this, clicking discover, and then we can enter the hashtags at the very top up here, NES3D, what we wanted to do, and then we wanted to also add on here that pound TRI. Remember, TII stands for traffic, TR, traffic, and then I, intermediate. So let's see if that comes back with Jerry's information there. Sure enough, see, there's Jerry West talking about how to keep it straight with SEO. Get yourself on page 1, not for just one site, but 4 different sites. That's pretty cool. Great idea. So let's see if we have some others out here. I know that when we finished up with our little experience with Pam that she had me speak about, we put P, E, and then B for beginning. So this is personal development beginning. Let's see how that works out. There we go. See, we've got a couple of pieces on that out there. So again, putting out those hashtags and then following the grid that you are given for the event that you're at would be the next best thing, because now you can sort to those specific elements and allow you to gather those. So how do we gather these and make them into our own personal product? Well, there's a couple things that can happen with that. First off, we can just grab them right off of here. So I've got them here. I can copy the items, go over to a spreadsheet, and just drop them in. Ready, control, and paste, 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 paste. There we go, paste. And we have the items on the page here. But you'll see that these, as they come in, really can be pretty messy. You notice how you've got lots of different kinds of information about each of these tweets. Open, favorite, delete these comments. And so this is more of a mess to clean up. You have to go back, boom, delete those. Yeah, that's okay. Boom, delete these. Yeah, that's okay. You have to clean out some of the items. So it can be kind of messy doing it that way. Another tool I found, and there's several out there, and of course you'll get better at this, and so will I as we work these things through. But right now, the other tool that I found was on my in my blog. I was able to put down a simple little plugin, and that plugin captures my tweets around the hashtag. You see right here, here's COB, this is for COB, for that conversion, and then B, beginning. So there we have it. And so these were all items, and these are sticking around. We're going to test the time frame for these and give you some results on that later. But again, this idea of having these tweets collected into a blog, and this is just on my blog in a page under New Essential Skills in 3D, and then boom, the notes are there. Now watch what happens when I cut and paste these. Because these have been processed a little bit, I can cut these off. Let's just grab to there right now just for the fun of it. We're going to copy these off just like we did earlier. Copy. We're going to run over to our spreadsheet, and we're going to paste these. In this case, we're going to get rid of all this stuff. Yeah, say goodbye to that. We're going to paste these right here. Oh, don't want my picture on there. So here we go. Paste. And now notice what we've got. Buy and tweet. Buy and tweet. So now what we can do with these is we can process these a little easier. we can sort them by the information and do it that way. But there's another thing we can do here. If we were concerned about our time frame, we could easily put here the number 1 and put here the number 2. And you see these then become number values. And when you highlight 2 columns and it knows that it's counting, if I can drag that down, it will just carry on the counting all the way to the next set of lines. So now I've got 24 there. And by doing that, now I can reverse the order of the tweets. Let's say there's a lot of things happening at the event that you're at, and these tweets are coming out, and you just can't handle them all. Well, you could take something like this, gather them all, drop them in here. Once you have them here, it's quite easy to just click on to the data and sort, and say I want to sort on column A, the one with the numbers in it. We want to do, instead of ascending, do descending. So it's going to reverse the order of these. So let's see how that looks. Boom, done. Now we notice that the bottommost tweet is first, and we go on down. Now before that, of course, we could have sorted out these other bylines and got rid of those. But if you want to keep those for your articles, pretty simple. So now you've got a basis of text for use in your word processor. So you jump over to your word processor, and you just have to excuse me, we're going to drop to the very bottom word processor here. And with that, we're going to paste. And if you just paste straight, boom, you end up with a grid here that was basically essentially the spreadsheet pages, but it's spread out there. So you see how that could work. The other possibility is if you do edit and paste special, and then choose the type of paste you want, particularly a formatted text or an unformatted text. Let's try formatted first here. So now that we've done that, what does that look like? So now you see we've got the kind of the grid and the lines, but again, something you can manipulate, you can work with, but it's text that's workable for you. The other thing we're going to go ahead and try is that, and that was formatted, and now we're going to go ahead and go paste, but we're going to paste special, so we have to go up to edit, paste special, and in this case, paste unformatted text, which should just leave us with the straight text information. There we go. So now you see we've got these little segments that can be easily dropped into our product. So there you have it. So you get the idea that now I can take this, I can manipulate this into my product in my word processor. So that's how you work the Twitter feeds into your product, moving them forward. But first, again, take those notes, drop them in, pull the hashtags. Now again, the purpose of putting the notes on Twitter is twofold. It's first off to get you re-engaged and going through the notes. And second, it's to help others to share and for you to be able to sort those and reorganize those once you're done. Kind of automated searching and sorting allows you to take a bunch of little pieces and pull them out into chunks that are usable for you. So that's one way to do your note taking and to push it out on Twitter. And then once you've got Twitter, you can pull these back down and use them. So that's the first plan. There's another kind of thing that I wanted to share for just a moment, and that is to put into place those things that you need to work on in your business. And then, of course, take somebody who spoke about that topic. In this case, Brian Finale talked about copywriting and helping pull the prospect into a particular state to give them an interrupt from what they've been experiencing so far and move them from where they were to this new state where they're willing and able to make a decision to purchase with you. Then there was a Michelle who talked about Facebook interactions and learning people's problems, their real troubles, and of course applying those into copywriting. You see how they start to merge together. And talked about the event-driven system, as well as Tim Sales talked about, the idea of training and team training and giving a 48-hour window to bring people in, to bring in the training for them after the fact. So you start to see where you take multiple speakers, the best thoughts of speakers about different topics, mesh them together, and come up with the best solutions. After Brian Finale and I took these notes, there were some other notes on copywriting that would all fit in here also. So the copywriting pieces start to go together. The pieces about understanding your audience start to go together. And so you now come together and you boil those down into a solution that works for you and or a product that works for others. So that was the first half of this call, was to get that kind of the note-taking ideas, how you get the notes out there, and what you can do with those notes as you get going forward. So now the second half, in terms of creating your product, which we started into, that collecting and gathering the information. I know I went really fast through that. The bottom line is this idea of sorting through your notes and pulling them together, whether you're sharing with us or not, becomes the foundation of an organizational structure for sharing with your prospects with others. And so that's where we had gone with this spreadsheet. Remember, the idea here being that this grid is a way of organizing our information to work with others. Also, it can be a way for us to work with ourselves. For example, I'm looking very seriously at the thread, a beginning thread for some of my customers who are interested in internet marketing. And the audience is a very specific audience. It's kind of a cool way to go, but I'm going to be sharing with them this prospect of beginning. How do I get traffic? How do I build a funnel? How do I get conversion? How do I bring in team training and personal development into this whole process? And so that's what we'll be putting together as we go over the next couple of days. By Saturday night, plan to have that completed so we can open it up for selling and adding it into our funnels by Tuesday. So that's kind of where we're headed. I hope that you'll find great success in applying some of the principles we've talked about here, about rehashing your notes, going back through them, and then cycling through those and organizing them in a way that makes sense, that is doable, and then taking action on that. Now, some of you, while you're taking notes, put together to-do items. I know on my paper notes, I did add little check boxes. So I put a little checkbox in different areas of things I knew I was going to do when I got back. Well, that's a great way to go. But there's another thing you can do while you're out there on the web, is you can go into a tool like TotalDo, which is the tool I prefer to use. And as I'm adding in notes into Twitter, I'm going to come over here to Twitter, make a little tweet, and then I'm going to make a note to myself. Let's say that, for example, this profile, I did find the profile very helpful, so I am going to go back in and look at my profile and see what I can do to work on some things. So here it is, boom, paste. So my tweet gets pasted, and I'm going to go to the PE profile, press enter. I now have a new project. And of course, once I put these into a particular folder, this is my planner, and then boom, contacts. I can do the other things I want, give it a due date, I can set a status, I can, whatever I want to do. I can think how long it's going to take or how much time I want to dedicate to that. In this case, I'm going to spend 1 hour in that project, up 1 minute. Think again, 1 hour, excuse me. So once I've got my 1 hour on there, I'm done. When I actually go to do the task, I can run the timer, be ticking away, and we can kind of follow up on it that way. So that's kind of where I'm going. Tweeting out my notes, adding to my to-do list, making together the things I want, as well as pulling off a congruent plan of action of how I'm going to implement these different pieces into the marketing funnels I have in place. I hope that you'll find the same success for yourself. We will be getting together on Saturday night for our next call. If you have questions or comments, you can either tweet those out to me, or you can contact me directly on Facebook, or just give me a holler however you want. We'll just get together there. So look forward to working with you in terms of getting this product and project out, seeing how these things flesh out when they're finished, and again, working through the issues of this. For some of you, this will be a first time, and it's okay. So take it simple, take it easy. Don't worry about all the little nitty-gritty details that you may be feeling overwhelmed with. Just embrace it and take those pieces that matter most, and let's get these products created as best we can. Now, what's the product going to look like? Well, that's a whole other question. Are you going to create an ebook? Are you going to make a video series? Are you going to do some audios? Are you going to record a mixture of them and have a video with a transcript, with an audio, with a dialogue and a phone call with somebody? Are you going to package these in a sequence? Is it going to be a single package that's going to be delivered once? Is it going to be a hard copy, something that you're going to sell and market? Is it going to be your free offer? Lots of choices in the production process. The purpose of this call wasn't necessarily to do that, but to help point you in that direction. As some of you may have gone through Profitable Producers, or you might have looked at Do What You Love for Your Living as you build a product there. These products teach you that product creation process. And we've got some very specific steps we go through. This is a very, very canned and condensed process right here with this event. And so we're going to try to knock out that product quickly here and show you how that's done. We'll document some of the steps along the way, and we'll be sharing those on Saturday. So if you want to see how to build a product from an event, come back to the webinar on Saturday and we'll show you how to do that. And by then, of course, if you haven't, you'll have your notes all finished and processed. If you shared them on Twitter, great. We'll be taking advantage of those also. If you didn't take advantage of that, that's okay. We appreciate your willingness to come along with us here. So for today, that's what we've got. I appreciate so much your effort and energy to be here, to get on the line with us, to kind of play this game and go forward with it. We'll open this up here for questions in just a second. Let me go ahead and finish the recording and go from there. So thank you so much again for your time.